I know this sounds insane, but I swear every word of it is true. I'm a 27-year-old guy from Ohio, and until 3 months ago, I thought I was just some average dude working a dead-end warehouse job. Nothing special, nothing interesting, just surviving. But then I found out that for the past 20 years, a man I didn't even know existed, an actual billionaire, was secretly paying for my entire life. Not openly, not like a sponsor or a mentor. I mean, in the shadows, through fake names, silent accounts, anonymous donations. And the crazy part? He did it because he's my biological father. And he never planned for me to find out. Everything started the day I got fired. I came home to a letter taped to my apartment door. No return address. Just my name written in the neatest handwriting I've ever seen. At first I thought it was some debt collector or some scam. Inside was a single line. You deserve more than the life you were given. Your mother hid the truth. E. Attached was a key. I honestly thought it was a joke, but something in me snapped that night. Maybe the desperation, maybe curiosity. So I followed the only clue I had, a small tag on the key with coordinates. It led to a storage unit on the edge of town. When I opened it, my legs nearly gave out. Inside were boxes of documents, old photographs of my mom with a man I didn't recognize. And, this still makes my hands shake, bank statements showing deposits made to my school, my rent, my medical bills, going back to when I was 7, all signed under the same initials, EW. I Googled the name attached to the accounts, and that's when I saw it. Elias Whitford. Net worth, $4.8 billion, tech entrepreneur, investor, philanthropist. A man who lived 20 minutes from me, and apparently knew everything about me. But before I could even process this, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Do not contact him. You're in danger because of who he is. Leave everything where it is. Except, I didn't listen. And that mistake might cost me my life. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in the storage unit with those boxes, scrolling through picture after picture of my mom smiling next to Elias Whitford. Like they were in love. Like they had a whole secret life I was never told about. At 3:12 a.m., I made the dumbest, most life-changing decision of my existence. I drove to his mansion. If you've ever seen those billionaire estates online, multiply that by 10. His place looked like someone dropped a modern palace in the middle of the woods. Steel, glass, massive gates, cameras everywhere. I had no plan, no idea what to say, just raw adrenaline. I walked up to the gate intercom and pressed the button. Nothing. Pressed it again. The third time, a calm voice answered, "State your name." I hesitated. I think Elias Whitford is my father. There was a long pause, too long. I thought they were about to call the police on me, but instead, the gates opened. A black SUV rolled up the driveway toward me. The window lowered, and a woman in a suit, like Secret Service level professional, stared at me. "Get in," she said. Every instinct in my body screamed, "Run," but I didn't. I climbed in, and she drove me around to the back of the mansion, where a smaller garden entrance waited. Inside, everything smelled like money, clean, cold, perfect. No family photos, no warmth, just a museum of wealth. She led me to a room with floor-to-ceiling windows, and there he was, Elias Whitford. Older than in the photos, gray hair, sharp eyes, expression like he was calculating the value of everything in the room, including me. When he spoke, his voice was steady, almost rehearsed. "I knew this day might come," he said, "but I hoped it wouldn't." I felt my throat tighten. Are you really my father?" He nodded once like he was confirming a business transaction. "Yes. And you being here puts both of us in danger." I laughed. "Because what else do you do when you hear something insane? Danger from who?" I swear when he said, "They're coming," the room felt like it dropped 10 degrees. I stared at him, waiting for some kind of clarification, a hint that this was exaggerated or metaphorical. It wasn't. Elias opened a secure tablet on his desk and turned it toward me. On the screen was a live feed from one of his mansion's security cameras. 3 black SUVs stopped a mile down the private road. "They found you faster than I expected," he whispered. My pulse hammered so loud I could barely hear my own thoughts. Who the hell are they? He sighed like he'd been rehearsing this answer for years. My wife, my sons, my board members. A pause. They built their entire empire on the assumption that I would leave everything to them. Your existence, your rightful claim, would destroy that. I felt sick. I don't want your money. That doesn't matter, he snapped. They think you do, and they think I'm planning to give it to you. He stood up suddenly and grabbed a metal case from his bookshelf. Inside was a new phone, a passport, stacks of cash, and a key card labeled Unit 34, Secure. You need to leave, he said. Right now. Through the service tunnels. My security can buy you maybe 10 minutes. I didn't move. My legs refused. You're just sending me away? I asked. After hiding from me my whole life? His expression softened for the first time, a crack in the armor. Your mother wanted you safe, he said quietly. She begged me never to expose you to this family, to these people, and I broke that promise tonight by letting you in. He placed a shaking hand on my shoulder. It's not that I don't want to know you, it's that if you stay, you die. Before I could speak, alarms started blaring through the house. A woman's voice echoed through the intercom. Perimeter breach. East wing compromised. Elias's face went pale. They're not wasting time, he muttered. Come on. He pulled me toward a hidden panel behind a bookcase. It slid open, revealing a narrow concrete tunnel stretching into darkness. Go straight. Do not stop, he ordered. At the end, you'll find a car waiting. Drive to the address in the phone. I'll contact you when I can. I turned to ask him one last question. Something. Anything. But before I got the words out, a gunshot echoed from inside the mansion. Then another. Elias shoved me into the tunnel and slammed the panel shut. I heard the lock click, and then I heard him scream. I stood frozen in the darkness of the tunnel, heart pounding so hard it drowned out everything else, until another gunshot ripped through the silence. Then another. Then a scream that sounded final. My stomach twisted. I didn't want to believe it was Elias. I didn't want to believe I had just met my father and lost him in the same hour. But the tunnel lights flickered red, an emergency mode, and that snapped me back to reality. I started running. My shoes slapped against the concrete, each step echoing like a countdown. The tunnel felt endless, suffocating, and every few seconds I thought I heard footsteps behind me. Halfway through, the new phone in my pocket buzzed. Unknown number, just one message. Run faster. I didn't think. I sprinted. Finally, I reached a metal door at the end. It opened automatically with the key card. On the other side was a dim underground garage with a single black sedan idling, engine running, driver's door open. For a second, I hesitated. What if this was a trap? What if Elias's family was already ahead of me? Then I heard the tunnel door behind me click open. I didn't look. I jumped into the car, slammed the door, and hit the gas so hard the tires screamed. The garage exit opened onto a hidden road that fed into the woods behind the estate. Trees blurred past as I sped downhill, shaking so badly I could barely keep the wheels straight. When I finally reached a main road, I pulled over and tried to breathe. But before I could even reach for the phone, it buzzed again. This time, a voice message. I pressed play with trembling hands. It was Elias. A loud crash in the background, a shout. He whispered quickly, "They killed her! My wife, my sons, they ordered it. She found something she shouldn't have, something that could ruin all of them. She died protecting you." My vision blurred. My mom, murdered, because of these people? His final words were barely audible. "You are the heir to something they will kill anyone to keep hidden. Trust no one with the Whitford name, not even the police. They own everything." A door slammed in the recording, then a gunshot. And the message ended. I dropped the phone. My whole body went numb. I had just become the last living secret of a billionaire family, and they were hunting me. I don't remember driving. I don't remember merging onto the highway or passing the city limits. All I remember is gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping me alive, because at that moment, it was. Somewhere around 4 a.m., I pulled into an empty truck stop and just sat there, shaking. Elias's voice echoed in my head on repeat. They killed your mother. You're the heir. Trust no one. I felt like the world had tilted sideways, like everything I'd ever known, my childhood, my memories, my identity, was a lie built on someone else's secrets. I pulled out the new phone and opened the one unsaved address in it, a warehouse district, an exact location pinned with the words, only. If they killed my mom, if they just attacked Elias, why would I trust anything he set up? What if the safe house was already compromised? What if going there was exactly what his family expected? Before I could decide, another message appeared, this one from a different unknown number. If you go to that safe house, you die. My throat closed. A second message followed immediately. They cloned this phone. Toss it now. I looked around the car. Empty road, pitch black sky, no one in sight. I rolled down the window and hurled the phone into a ditch. For a moment, there was nothing but silence. Then headlights appeared in the rearview mirror. At first, I thought it was just some random driver, but the car slowed, then slowed more, then matched my parking spot exactly. My hands froze on the wheel. The car behind me had no plates. I didn't think. I slammed my foot on the gas and flew out of the lot, tires screeching. The other car followed instantly. No hesitation, no confusion. They knew I was there. I took the first exit, then another, weaving through back roads at random. The car stayed glued to me. Every turn I made, they made. Every attempt to lose them failed. Finally, in a moment of panic, I cut the lights and swerved into a narrow dirt road leading into a forest. Branches slapped the car as I barreled through the dark. Behind me, the headlights followed, bouncing, growing closer. My heart felt like it would explode. I spotted an old service path and jerked the wheel, sliding behind a cluster of trees. I killed the engine, killed my breath, and watched through the branches as the car tore past, still searching. I waited. 1 minute, 2, 5. When the road finally went quiet, I crawled out of the car and stared into the darkness of the woods. I had no phone, no allies, no father, no idea who was sending warnings, and a billionaire family trying to erase me from existence. And that's when I saw it. A drone, silent, hovering above the trees. Its camera pointed right at me. The drone's red sensor light blinked once, just once, but it felt like someone had pressed a gun barrel to the back of my neck. I froze, trying not to breathe, as if the thing could hear my heartbeat. Then the drone tilted ever so slightly, like it was focusing. It had me. I ducked behind a fallen log as the drone lowered, scanning the trees with surgical precision. Its light swept across the ground, over the bushes, over the trunk of my car. I knew that if it spotted even the outline of my body, I was done. Suddenly, the drone emitted a soft click, then another, like it was taking pictures. My blood ran cold. This wasn't surveillance. This was target acquisition. I crawled through the dirt on my elbows, keeping low. Twigs snapped under my weight, and I winced. Each sound felt like a death sentence. The drone drifted toward the noise, hovering inches above the ground now. My brain screamed, "Run!" But something else happened first. A rock, no, more like a chunk of broken concrete, came flying out of the trees and smashed into the drone. Sparks exploded, and the drone spiraled, crashed, and went silent. I jerked my head to the right, heart slamming against my ribs. A figure stepped out from behind the trees, hood up, face shadowed, breathing steady, calm, deliberate. Before I could move or speak, the person whispered, "Get up. We don't have much time." I stumbled backward. "Who the hell are you?" The stranger didn't answer. Instead, they pointed deeper into the forest. "They're close. 3 more drones and at least 2 trackers are coming. Move." "No," I snapped. "Tell me who you are first." The stranger sighed, impatient, like I was a child arguing during a house fire. "I'm the one who warned you about the safe house," they said. "I'm the one who told you to throw the phone away." My chest tightened. "Why are you helping me?" Finally, they lowered their hood. It was a woman, maybe mid-30s, sharp eyes, bruised cheek, clothes dirty like she'd been living off-grid for days. "I worked for the Whitfords," she said. "Security, internal investigations." "And now you're... what, a traitor?" She shook her head. A witness. Before I could ask what that meant, she stepped close, too close, and whispered, "Your mother didn't escape alone. She wasn't the only one who found out what the Whitfords were doing. I was with her when she died." My breath caught in my throat. "She made me promise to protect you," the woman said. "And your father? He trusted me too, until they forced him to cut ties." I swallowed hard. "If you were with my mom, how did you survive?" She looked past me, toward the road where faint engine sounds were returning. "I didn't. Not really." Then she grabbed my wrist. "We need to go. Now." As she pulled me into the darkness, branches whipping past us, one thought hit me harder than the rest. This stranger knew more about my life and my mother's death than anyone left alive, and I didn't know if she was saving me or delivering me straight into the trap. Branches clawed at my arms as the woman dragged me deeper into the forest. I stumbled over roots, rocks, anything hidden beneath the thick carpet of leaves. She moved like she had the terrain memorized, silent, fast, confident. I moved like a scared animal, trying not to die. Behind us, the hum of engines grew louder. Whoever was hunting me, they were close. Finally, we reached an old hunting cabin buried beneath overgrown vines. The windows were boarded up, the roof sagging, the whole place looking like it hadn't been touched in 20 years. "This is where we hide?" I whispered. "No," she said, pushing open the door. "This is where we get answers." Inside, the air smelled like dust and cold wood. The woman immediately went to a loose floorboard in the corner and pried it up, revealing a metal lockbox. She tossed it onto the table between us. My stomach tightened. "What's that?" She didn't answer. Instead, she opened it. Inside were three things: a flash drive, a faded photograph of my mother, smiling, and a gun. She slid the gun toward me. "Take it." I don't know how to use that." She leaned forward, eyes sharp. "You're going to learn, because they won't stop." I swallowed, staring at the weapon like it was radioactive. "What's on the drive?" I finally asked. Her jaw clenched. "The reason your mother died." I felt a wave of nausea roll through me. "So show me." She plugged the drive into an old laptop hidden under the table. The screen flickered, then a folder appeared labeled Project Hemlock, Whitford Industries. She opened a video file. The footage was grainy, from some kind of hidden camera, men in suits, a lab, a restrained test subject, machines I didn't recognize. "This is what the Whitfords built their empire on," she whispered. "Not tech, not software, human experimentation, illegal trials, unapproved neurochemicals." My skin crawled. What happened to that man in the video?" "He died," she said flatly. The footage cut to a new clip, this one clearer. My mother, standing in the same lab, arguing with someone off screen, holding a folder, crying. I felt the floor shift beneath me. "She tried to expose them," the woman said, "and they made sure she never would." I stared at the screen, frozen, unable to breathe. Then, the laptop suddenly shut off. The woman's eyes widened. "That's impossible. There's no internet connection, nothing that could remote wipe." A red dot appeared on the wall beside her head. Not a light, a laser. She dove forward, grabbing me, yelling, "Down, now!" A bullet tore through the cabin wall, splintering wood inches above my skull. They had found us, and they weren't here to capture me. They were here to finish what they started. The hatch slammed shut above us, sealing off the roaring flames, the gunman, and the voice of the brother who wanted me erased. But it also sealed us into complete darkness, so thick I couldn't see my own hands. For a second, the only sounds were our breathing, fast, shallow, panicked. Then Lena clicked on a small tactical flashlight, and the beam cut through the black. We stood in a narrow underground tunnel, damp earth walls, wooden support beams rotting with age, rusty cart rails running along the ground. The air smelled like mold and old metal. "This tunnel system was built in the 1950s, Lena whispered. "It runs for miles under the forest. They won't find us down here. Not immediately." "Not immediately?" I echoed. She didn't answer. She only started walking. I followed, stumbling over uneven ground, my ears still ringing from the explosion. Behind us, muffled thuds shook the ceiling. Footsteps. Voices. They were already searching above. After a few minutes, the tunnel split in 3 directions. Lena stopped, scanning each path like she had some internal map. "This one," she said, pointing to the left. "How do you know?" "Because your mother showed me." My chest tightened. "You knew her well?" Lena's hand gripped the flashlight a little harder. "Better than anyone. Better than Elias did by the end." I swallowed. What really happened to her? Elias said she found something. Lena stopped walking. For the first time, her tough expression cracked, just a little. "She found everything," Lena said. "The full scope of Project Hemlock, the experiments, the human trafficking behind some of the test subjects, the politicians paid to look the other way, and the contingency plan if anything leaked." I shivered. The tunnel felt colder suddenly. "What was the contingency plan?" Lena looked at me, her face lit in harsh angles by the flashlight. "You," she said, "killing anyone connected to you, anyone who might help you, anyone who might discover who you are." My knees buckled. "Why me? I'm nobody." "No," she said. "You're the only Whitford with no blood on your hands. No involvement in Hemlock. The public would believe you if you exposed everything. They fear you because you're clean." My stomach twisted. My lungs felt too small for my rib cage. "So they want me dead," I whispered. "Their entire empire depends on it." Before I could respond, a metallic clatter echoed down the tunnel behind us. We turned. In the darkness, dozens of red lights flickered to life. Not drones, helmet visors. Footsteps thundered toward us. Lena pushed me. "Run!" We sprinted down the tunnel, lungs burning, boots slamming against the metal rails. The soldiers' flashlights sliced through the darkness behind us. I looked back once and froze. Leading the squad was my brother. His voice carried down the tunnel like a knife. "End it. No survivors this time." We ran as fast as we could, the tunnel twisting like a labyrinth. The soldiers' boots pounded behind us, relentless, precise. Lena led the way, her flashlight swinging wildly, illuminating broken rails, puddles of water, and the occasional graffiti from decades ago. I was barely keeping up, lungs on fire, heart threatening to explode. "Through here!" Lena hissed, pulling me into a smaller side passage. It was tight, barely wide enough for both of us. I scraped my shoulder along the wall, but I didn't care. We had no choice. The footsteps followed, echoing, echoing, echoing. Then a hand grabbed my shoulder. I twisted violently and swung the gun Lena had given me. Miracle or instinct, I don't know. And hit the first soldier blindly in the chest. He went down with a thud, and the others hesitated for a split second. That split second was everything. We emerged into a hidden cavern. Water dripped from the ceiling, the walls glittering with mineral veins. Lena pulled a map from her pocket. "This cavern has an exit through the old river channel. If we make it, we can disappear for good." I nodded. "And if we don't?" "Then you become another ghost in the Whitford legacy," she said grimly. We started moving along the cavern edge. The water was waist deep, freezing. Behind us, the shouting and footsteps echoed louder, the soldiers splitting up, trying to flank us. Then it happened. My brother appeared on the opposite side of the cavern, calm, smiling, a rifle in his hands. "You can't hide, little brother," he called out. "End this now, and maybe I let you live." I froze for a second. For the first time, the weight of everything hit me. The murders, the betrayal, the legacy I never asked for. And then Lena whispered, "Your move. It's now or never." I took a deep breath, raised the gun, and fired at a pipe above him. Water exploded into the cavern, creating a blinding wall of mist. He cursed. The river's current surged stronger, and Lena grabbed my hand. We dove into the icy water, letting it carry us through the underground channel. For what felt like hours, we were swallowed by darkness and rushing water. I thought I'd die. I thought I'd never see sunlight again. But eventually, the river spat us out near a deserted dock, miles away from the Whitford estate. We collapsed on the shore, soaked, exhausted, and alive. Lena pulled a thick envelope from her backpack. "Everything you need," she said. "Documents, evidence, a new identity, and instructions on exposing Hemlock without them touching you." I stared at the envelope. realizing, finally, that I held the power to destroy the empire that had hunted me my entire life. "And your father?" I asked quietly. She shook her head. "He didn't survive, but he trusted me to keep you alive. That's why we're here." I held the envelope tight. I had lost my parents, my family, my old life, but I had survived. And now I had a chance, not just to live, but to take down the people who made me a target before they could do it again. I looked at Lena. She smiled faintly. "Ready?" she asked. I nodded. For the first time in my life, I felt in control, and I knew one thing for certain: the Whitford name would never haunt me again.